Good evening, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another vintage stream. So I had this idea to throw together a Hatebears list that played both a playset of Hullbreachers and Opposition Agents, and huge shout out to Joe Fisher for letting me borrow both of these so that I could try this idea out. I think the original deck list I used as a starting point was one of Chubby Rain's deck lists, although it was like green, and I think it had Mayor of Avabrook instead of Luminarch Aspirant in here. Although I kind of took huge liberties with the sideboard. I've always had trouble with shops when I've been playing these sorts of decks, so I'm going to try out 4 Serenities and then 3 Fairgrounds Wardens in the hope that nuking their artifacts and being able to answer a few creatures easily gives me a decent way of making that matchup more respectable. The hope is that with Spirit of the Labyrinth, Thalia, Lavinia, Thorn, Chalice, Trinisphere, Large Stone Golem, Opposition Agent, and Hullbreacher, that the matchups versus blue should be very, very good in game 1. I bounced some ideas about this deck list around the vintage community, and Static Crypt in particular kind of helped me get things together. One of the biggest innovations he had was tossing in Lotus Petal, because it's so good if you're on the play to stick something like a turn 1 Lavinia or Thorn or something like that, that playing, a bad Mox is probably still worth doing. I don't think I have too much else to say here. The original mana base that I was trying wasn't a fetch dual mana base. It was a mana base full of like various rainbow lands. But relatively speaking, this deck is mostly white. So I opted to move away from that towards or just generically stable fetch land. Alexander 5. Why no Soul Ring? I think Soul Ring would be okay in this deck. It would be a turn 1 play, but a lot of times with this deck, you're hoping to go Mox into Dude. And if you go Soul Ring, you have the potential to do 2/2 drops on turn 2, but that's really only if your mana works out well for that in a lot of cases, which it might not when you have things like Lavinia and 3 different color creatures scattered across. So I don't know that Soul Ring is always going to do what I want. And I don't have that many big payoff cards that or mana sinks that let me use additional colorless mana. So I think I'm okay with this suite of things that I have right. All right, folks, welcome for round 1. We're going to be keeping our hand. We're up against Trinity. I don't know what they play off the top of my head. We have a whole bunch of different hateful things that I can be playing here, and I get to jam something on turn 1. I don't know what that something is going to be yet. My taxing effects have gotten a little bit worse. Decent amount worse. Looks like we're playing against PO. Spirit of Labyrinth is a great bear. I think that's the one that I'm going to be sticking on turn 1. And then turn 2, I can go for double Thorn effect. Oh, they could be Breach. That's true. My gut says PO, though. I'm not 100% whether or not Breach plays Mana Vault. I'm not, like, hyper familiar with the list. I don't think it does, but I'm very willing to be wrong there. Ooh, Teferi. That's only a temporary answer to my bear. So I'm good with that as a whole. Less good with that. Let's pick up our one shrubland right here. Actually, I should have gotten blue. I have Mox Jet. Let's do Thalia first. And then if they want to Force of Will, they have to tap the Mana Bolt in order to do it. Barry puts a damper on, like, my opposition agent blow-up potential. Stupid fun police. I do have to worry about, like, a Hullbreacher being flashed in and eating my Spirit of Labyrinth mid-combat. Like, that's a thing that can happen. Holy crap, Stryfo, thank you very much for the giant raid. Hello, for everyone who's just tuning in. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for a vintage stream. I'll show off the list in just a minute, but we are playing with a Hatebears deck that is particularly hateful. Right, I'm gonna need to... I think I'm fine with that. Let's get this down pre-combat to just make it harder for my opponent to do stuff during combat. Ah, the instant speed ponder is fine because our opponent can draw one card per turn off Spirit Labyrinth. Look, HC Fox, most of the decks that I'm gonna play are gonna lose to. Doesn't matter how much they're sweeping for. When they sweep, I'm in trouble. Alright, so a mental misstep is gone. I don't think I exactly want to play around Hullbreacher, blocking Spirit of the Labyrinth. I think I'm just going to send this. Oh, hold on. Attack that at Teferi, let's attack this at them. And if they flash in a Hullbreacher and block my Spirit of the Labyrinth, I have a second one. Great. Yeah, the things that can happen in Legacy and Vintage are just so crazy in terms of, like, blowout potential and the weird things that can actually end up winning you games. Like, it's very strange how deep some of those matches can get. Same room, new webcam setup. Otter Lady, thank you very much for the support. Very much appreciated. Yeah, so I set up the webcam in a new place. I kind of rigged something up so that I could suspend it above my monitors. My monitors are a little bit too thin to actually put the webcam up there, but I kind of made it work. And that's why I did sort of a baby stream this afternoon, and I just like streamed some historic for like an hour to make sure that settings were okay. All right, good stuff. Yeah, I did some minor volume level adjustment this afternoon, but other than that, I am not making so many changes to what I did this afternoon. You all loved it, you all and your weird nose fetishes. I mean, not that I judge, I'm into some weird things myself, but, you know, all I'm saying is you've stuck around for a long time. You must have liked what you were seeing. Okay. So, we could be playing against just a fair Jeskai deck, but I'm going to operate under the assumption that we're playing against something closer to TO and probably board in these deafening silences over the Containment Priests. Now, Containment Priest is a backup plan, or sorry, one step back. Tinker can be a backup plan for a lot of these decks, so I could not. I'm going to keep at least one of these in, is what I'm getting at, because Tinker for a Sphinx is a very real thing. So the question is, do I want to board out something else over this? And everything else is just kind of hateful, or is my finisher. I could keep the other Containment Priests over Luminarch Aspirant. Don't even have surgicals to side in. Deck building error. My opponent plays so many cards that I could surgical, like Ancestral. Yeah, let's keep one Containment Priest, and if our opponent shows us a Tinker package that includes Sphinx specifically, play Containment Priest for the next game as well. Yes! I can't do Lavinia on turn 1, otherwise that would be the play that I would make. I'll play the one that attacks this turn. There's arguments to do this the other way around, because things like Lightning Bolt can kill Thalia that won't kill Thorn. The thing about doing it this way, though, is that now the Thorn costs 3, and will eat up an entire turn. So if I play the Thorn on turn 1, and... No, I guess I can't really double spell the next turn anyway. Yeah, so Medea is the name of a character from mythology, and Magica is just the Latin word for, like, magical. It's sort of a play on the anime series Madoka Magica. Most of my usernames that I wanted were taken, and after like I think literally the fourth one I attempted, I was just like, screw it. Here's something that no one will have done before. I am like the best magical girl. The fact that we have an answer to this Lavinia is gas. I can cast creatures, right? Non-creature. Wait. Pirate? Pirate. And I think I'm just going to drop this main phase. Yes, I know that it has flash, but I'm just going to get that in now. Like, no chances. Next turn, we'll bounce our opponent's Lavinia, play our own Lavinia, or maybe Thorn. We'll see where things go. Uh-oh. So I can actually use my Lotus because I control Thalia. So I pay 1 because of the Thalia tax. Then that means I have 6 total mana this turn. Or I can just like bounce the Lavinia ahead of time and like not worry about that too. So let's do like this. All right, whoever called wait Force of Will because wait on bouncing Lavinia because of Force of Will, you may mark off 1 on your bingo card. So I don't really have good attacks here. I can have weird attacks starting next turn where I attack in with multiple legendary creatures, then bounce 1 with Karakas. Attacks are kind of risky. Well, no, if something was going to get Force of Will, I wanted the Thorn to get Force. Man, I don't have black mana! Good Cavern of Souls. Eh, eh. This was one of the concerns about the mana base. Take this one nice and slow. Yeah, okay, so Spirit of the Labyrinth. Good for me. Okay, so my opponent goes to draw a card on my turn. They can draw the card, I get a treasure. They go to draw a card on their turn, they're prevented from doing it. I can't get treasure. I think. Yes. Regardless, I still probably play this. I don't think I want to trade Containment Priest for 2 Monk tokens. Like, I have Luminarch Aspirant in my deck, and I can just build up a couple of counters on a first striker like Thalia and then get in that way. I don't think I'm in a hurry. I don't think I have something like Pyroclasm to worry about. My opponent's cantrips are very off. I think I can sit here and accrue bullshit. I mean, we'll see if I'm wrong, but get Sphinx. Let it get exiled. Ah, they have a top. Yeah, I mean, the lack of black mana this game is a little annoying. That's okay, like, Containment Priest just saved my... Right on time, fucking Opposition Agent, thank you. Thank you. Kinda, I think that was probably their best option, given circumstances. They might have realized partway into the Tinker that they couldn't get what they wanted. So the Hullbreacher is going to prevent those draws. So Sensei's Divining Tap looks more like Sylvan Library right now than like the glorious thing that it normally looks like. This is a little bit of fun police, so I have to go and put the opposition play agent in play right now. I can't wait on it. I see. Just gonna bounce a Mox and then attack in for a bunch. That's reasonable, I suppose. Score is good. I think we'll do the old trick of block with a creature and then bounce said creature. This is a little late. I think I'm just going to be dead to not being able to attack through the Mentor. I could attack with the X2s. That trades multiple monks for the stuff that I've got going on. Then maybe leaves me dead a lower percentage of the time. Alright. Let's go baseline the Tolarian Academy. Now I'll go to combat. I kind of have to hope that their last card doesn't allow them to do something at instant speed. If they can do something at instant speed, really bad. Attack them, attack them, attack them, attack them. We're gonna hold this back to shut off the whole like Sensei's Divining Top monastery sort of thing. No, if I play the Thalia pre-combat and it gets countered by some random counterspell, then all of those things are now much bigger. Like a Daze, for example. Mm. Would have tapped this. I don't know, it doesn't matter. So now I have to somehow beat through all of these creatures that are remaining while my opponent also does their thing. Okay, I think at this point it's probably pretty safe to just up. I guess I'm not technically dead, but I can't attack for lethal next turn. Shenanigans are up? Yeah, alright. Let's toss in the towel here. So I did indeed see this Tinker, which makes me want to have the rest of the Containment Priests in. What do I board out instead? I can trim one of these. Maybe I can cut this for low. I trim one of those because Containment Priest is doing a similar thing. Monastery Mentor is restricted, so we don't necessarily need to bring in Fairgrounds Warden because that card is not really going to be great against most of the rest of what their deck has going on. Hand's awkward. It has a turn 1 Deafening Silence, which is cool. But if I make this Lavinia uncounterable on turn 2, then I can't play both of the Hullbreachers that are in my hand. I don't know if this one is a keep, despite being like very, very, very close to what I want. I think I'm going to ship it. The mana is just awkward. If I top deck a land, this hand is good. If I top deck any CMC card other than another Lavinia, this hand is good as well. Actually, maybe I do keep this. Like, land or so many other creatures just make this good. Hello and welcome. This is also going to be a hand where I can't really play the opposition if I draw one. Yep, the Lodestone Golem's still here. We sideboarded it out for this particular game, but it is 100% still in the deck. I think I'm just playing Aspirant this turn, and then playing two back-to-back uncounterable Hullbreachers. All right. Get in there. Get my beats on. Fire it. Guess I just like pass and hold this up. Oh, nice. So now our Hullbreacher like very safe in the turn cycle. Well, I didn't think it was going to be countered, but I thought it might get like hit by a removal spell or something. That's totally reasonable. I think I'm just going to hold up the second Hullbreacher. Either Containment Priest or Hullbreacher represents lethal damage next turn, assuming nothing changes. I think if I had Opposition Agent. Maybe Opposition Agent just shouldn't be in the deck, and this should be like a blue-white deck, so the mana base can be a little bit more consistent. Although I guess it's like only one scrubland. As additional ways to cast this. Alright. You got. Good Mox Ruby. What on earth do you Vamp Tutor for? That I guess it has to be a removal spell of some nature. Whatever it is, they can't cast it on this turn. I mean, Echoing Truth would be solid. Alright, so the question is, where do I put the counter? I think the counter goes on a Hullbreacher. If they specifically have an Echoing Truth, it's worse than putting it on the Aspirant, but I don't think that's super likely. I want to be representing 7 damage if Luminarch Aspirant gets answered. Okay, so one of the Hullbreachers is getting revealed. That's fine. I get a treasure, and your fetch land is now off. I do have 5 mana, I just got a treasure. So I can do something like cast Lavinia while holding up second Hullbreacher. We're about to be 1-0. I mean, those are famous last words, but I feel pretty confident here. Ah. Yeah, that's fine. What does this affect? Lands. Bird. No, I'm still going to have lethal through a balance. I'll put in a new Hullbreacher. I'll keep this. Done. Sacrifice the rest. These two. Guard the priest. Sacrifice all creatures I control. That's fine. Play uncounterable Hullbreacher that should theoretically be able to attack for lethal here. Opponent can't counter this. Can't use another removal spell on it. Yeah, there we go. We're back for round 2. We have a pretty good hand. We have a turn 1 Hatebear of some kind. See whether or not Lavinia or Thalia sounds better. Like Lavinia. Oh, to be on the play this game, though. We actually have good mana this hand as well. Well, they hit a land by putting the top on top, though. So playing the Thalia becomes slightly more appealing now. I think Lavinia still is probably better than Thalia. Hers. All right, that's a specific reason to lead on Thalia over Lavinia. God damn it. Oh, we left this ship behind. I think this looks like Thalia them, Wasteland them, Oko gets Solid, play Luminarch Aspirant, end up with the bigger elk than my opponent, attack in. I think that's my plan. I just want you all to take a moment to realize how much we're talking about Luminarch Aspirant being good right now. Just keep that in mind. Some of you were skeptical a little while ago. When you run into these fair situations where you face down like a hollow one or some early elks or something like that, or even just like a 3-2 out of shops, having Luminarch Aspirant to outgrow the threats on the other side of the table is so important. Oh, chat wasn't talking mad shit. The chat was skeptical. Don't have force of will. Uh... Alright, opponent has decided that they are the beatdown. I agree with them. Low. That lets me double spell this turn, I guess. Kind of. Awkward. I think I probably end up going to 1 next turn. Show him the scrubland. My opponent has no mana with which to brainstorm, so I probably don't get a sweet Hullbreacher blowout or anything. The worst part is I basically didn't see any of my opponent's cards other than Oko game. I assume they're just on some sort of rug Xerox. But they basically showed me nothing other than. Okay. How do I win? Win by blocking one of these. Take 6, go down to 4, Hullbreacher, back, kill Oko, and draw a creature as well. I'm going to just resolve this now while there's a chance of it getting killed. Alright, I have to draw a creature right here. Doesn't matter what it is. So I just showed my opponent a flash creature, so there is some world where they don't attack me with both. But it is not this world. I don't think I win if I just let that Oko sit on board. Any creature, though. Any creature, I chump block, go to 1, then I can trade for a food later, chump block again if I need to, and, I very realistically probably end up winning that game. Alright, I'm going to bring in a Pithing Needle for something like Wrenn and 6 or Oko. I think that's going to be the only card that I sideboard in, and Containment Priest doesn't really look all that appealing here. I'll board that out. Containment Priest is actually pretty bad. What if I board out all of those Fairgrounds Wardens, and then if my opponent has something big and dumb like a Tarmogoyf, I can answer that? Or like an opposing Lavinia or something like that. That's a shame. I bet that matchup was really closer than it. I know I got destroyed by Oko, but we were very close to turning the corner. It's a very fair hand. I think I'm going to try to mulligan for something that has power, especially when I'm on the play. Uh, turn 1 Thorn's good, but I have literally nothing to do. Yeah. Yeah, okay. We'll work with this. Okay, so this is 4 mana on turn 1. So that's Thorn of Amethyst plus Spirit of the Labyrinth. And then with any land, I can play Luminarch Aspirant as the follow-up. Sounds good to me. Go! Alright, let's hope the Spirit of the Labyrinth is good, because if it's not, I am dead. Biglio Delamerle, thank you very much for following. Hope you're enjoying the content. See if our Moldavia can get there in Vintage. Oh shit, our opponent's Oath. I do have Caracas. Maybe we're fine. We also might just get bigger than a Grizzlebrand. Or whatever. Okay, so that one's not legendary. That's okay. I will get bigger than that. Only takes 2 turns. Containment Priest? Flooded Strand. That's almost like Containment Priest. Alright, one more turn, and I can attack. That's first strike. Yeah, we boarded out thinking that they were a Xerox deck. Not quite the case. Yeah, okay, instants are off. Deal. And it's also Vigilant. Sphinx is a very hard worker. This is symmetrical, right? Oh, yeah. The fucking best. So I didn't grow it out of Bolt range immediately because this was on instant, meaning that Bolt wasn't castable. But maybe I should have split the counters. Lives through anyway. Yeah, I guess I should put 1 counter there for Inferno Titan specifically. I've seen that before. They've revealed 133 cards. So it doesn't look like I have a Lightning Bolt to worry about, but Abrades are a thing in their deck. past that. Now I'll put one of those on the Fairground Warden, play it around a Braid. So the next plan is just grow something, grow another creature larger than this Archon that I can start attacking in. The Ancestral Recall, target themselves with Spirit of the Labyrinth in play. Feels bad. Maybe I should Leyline of the Void my opponent. This game is freaking crazy. Gaia's Blessing doing some work. The reveal. Reveal, so Opposition Agent isn't going to stop it later. So I think I'm going to start stacking up on a Luminarch Aspirant now. I'll get my second creature that can start attacking in. This game, though, this game right here is a good example of why Vintage is just crazy. Everyone's doing like ridiculous drag racing bullshit, and then every once in a while you come across these situations that's just like, wait, hold on, how do cars work again? When you just like ram the weirdest combination of cards together. Okay, my opponent is done with us now. We've had enough. Okay, now we know we're playing against Oath that just like randomly happened to have an Oko. Containment Priest, you're in. Pithing Needle, you're out. I don't think we go the Leyline deep. Like, I don't want to be mulliganing to a Leyline. It's just kind of one of those things. If we end up in a similar spot to that game, it's cool. Probably not what I actually want. On the draw, some of these restricted cards lose a little bit of their oomph. I think on the draw, I'm going to junk Zone and Trinisphere. Then I'll just trim a card, like maybe trim a Thalia on the draw. Too much mana. No Moxen, but I think I still keep this hand. I want you to think about Serenity versus Oath for a second and decide whether or not you think that's a good idea. Think about the timing. It's probably not going to do what I want it to do. So I have to play Serenity on my turn. If they already have an Oath, they get an Oath trigger in their upkeep, and then I can destroy the Oath on my turn. Eh? It sure does destroy Oath. Ah, that's what's happening. Okay, try to wasteland them. See if they want to like Pyroblast Lavinia or something. Yep, okay, that's what's happening. That's fine. I will shut off a bunch of the cantrips. Our opponent has missed a land drop already prior to all of this. Oh, they found one. Go ahead and put the clock into play. I can wait on playing the Containment Priest until after they have the Oath. Cavernous Souls would be the best draw here. Not happen. Alright. Do you have a Force of Will? Ah, shit, you do have a Force of Will. So if I draw a land, I can just Fairgrounds Warden whatever target they have. And this is not actually the end of the world. Lushnorn Invented. This is okay. Like, I will outgrow this Eleshnorn eventually to the point where I can actually block, or at least consider blocking. Any land or Moxen. Be fantastic! Yes, Jim, that is correct. God damn it. They drew the Abrade. I get an Oath trigger now, right? That's how that works. Okay, how does this work? Oh, I see. So I just have to build to that and choose you. Alright, I just got a creature that died. This is really frustrating, because I'm just one land away from totally being fine. And I have been for so many turns. Alright. Now, it's been so many turns that like a Force of Will or a Braid, whatever beats me. Alright. GG's. That one's a little frustrating. Right. Welcome back for our next round. We are on the draw. I'll be keeping this hand. Got a turn one play of some nature. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the curses video. That one's doing pretty well on YouTube. We're well over 1,000 views on that one at this point. I think approaching 1,500. Well, Hullbreacher's sweet. Let's hope they just don't put a billion power into play on turn one. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good amount of power, but that's not a billion power. I'm gonna go ahead and flip this into play. All right, I haven't thought about how this and dredge cards interact yet. All right, so it replaces the draw, so not super well. My opponent has 2 bridges in the graveyard. Does that mean I would block with Hullbreacher this turn? Junk 2 bridges? I think I'm probably winning this set via ley lines. I want to name Time Twister. Maybe I should have just conceded at this spot if I'm going to be such a dog in game 1 at this point. Maybe I should have conceded. Like, my opponent gets a Hogak this turn. Caracas is the draw that allows me to really stay in this game. Oh shit, the prized amalgams are coming too. Forgot about them. Yeah, I should have just conceded in response to that Cabal Therapy. I think that was a misplay on my end. I'm going to take a draw, though. Pretend like I have outs. We can also flip the Mana Crypt and then, like, complain if we lose the flip. Ah, we lost the flip. That's why we lost this one. Was the Mana Crypt, yeah. Alright, ley lines in, needle for Bazaar in, sounds good. I'll consider Fairgrounds Warden. Chalice seems pretty Furnace is probably fine. Barn is probably Lodestone is probably slow. Hullbreachers are so are opposition agents. Actually, the Hullbreachers are probably better because, like, every once in a while, the Bazaar does get activated fairly. And then this makes me just a blue-white deck, with the exception of the Ley Lines, which I can't hardcast unless I have both Scrubland and Mox Jet. Nope. I mean, Lavinia's good, but not that good. God, why, deck? Why? Alright, how many white sources do I have? 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So maybe I shouldn't even play that out because of shit. I think I don't show the... No, I do show the Wasteland. If I draw a white source next turn, I want to have white that available plus Payment Priest or Spirited Labyrinth. Alright. We knew this was a possibility. It's okay. Like, we get a few turns to draw a white source, and then any white source is very good. And a second land means that I can exile this hollow one. Alright. Bazaar's off. Force of Vigor looking hotter than ever, though. That's pretty rough. Now I have to hit, like, Lotus. Yeah. Alright, I'm on a 1-outer. Nope. Alright. I accept. I don't know that I regret keeping the hand. It's not a good hand, and I knew that in keeping it. But it has the possibility of shutting off a lot of what they're doing, and turn 1 hollow one is the big thing that punishes my keep, or us missing lands for that many turns like what happened. Say, Livy. For the next round, we're on the draw. I'm going to be keeping a Black Lotus hand, so hopefully our opponent doesn't go ham on turn 1 and keep us from casting our Lotus. Okay. Is there any world in which I don't just want to snap off the Wasteland? I don't think so. Lavinia is very good here. Like Lavinia plus Thalia. Maybe. Maybe Lavinia plus Thalia is better than just like Wasteland plus Thalia. Because then I can't, like, it's really hard to Lavinia afterwards. Oh shit, I can't do both. I think I can get 2 colors of mana, but not in the correct quantities. Probably means I just Wasteland, play Lotus. Could play Lotus. Hold up Hullbreacher? Instead? Yeah, let's do that. Okay, that feels pretty good. Nice Bazaar. Ball therapy targeting me. Balls. Same paradoxical outcome. Not quite. Oh, pearls. Not bad here. Now, assume that I'm doing this. Let's assume that I can leave the Bazaar with a Hullbreacher in play. I'll attack the Bayou instead. Alright, yeah, my opponent has just conceded there. What a blowout. Alright, so this looks like Hogak Vine. So ley lines are good, needle's good, Fairground Ward is probably good enough. A lot of these cards are just worse on the draw. So like Trinisphere's worse on the draw, Lodestone Golem's worse on the draw. Darn. My restricted cards are worse on the draw, and I have like a bunch of stuff to bring in for this matchup. I almost like want to do that too. That's like really good against the Deathrite Shaman side of the deck. IDK. Like these are also just one more thing that gets caught up in a Force of Vigor. So if I'm sticking these like artifacts and enchantments, I want them to be good. Thalia's medium, opposition agents medium. Some of my trims should probably come from those. Ginny is great. Thalia as a first striker for Bloodghast is like full. Chunk the opposition agents. Still leaves me with 26. Fine. The fine hand. I'll be keeping this. Be stellar on the play. Okay on the draw. Oh, best friend Tabitha, I'm glad you're liking it. I hope it works out well. I have a whole bunch of fetches. Planes. Let's just play the Tundra. Stay flexible. Yeah, so they can just fetch again, put it in response. Maybe because of that exact situation, it was just better to main phase the Containment Priest. Yeah, I guess it was better to main phase the Containment Priest. Awkward. Yeah, they name a removal spell, but they have named the wrong removal spell. My black cards are in my sideboard. Yes. Fetch another Tundra. I mean, I made a suboptimal play. It's not the end of the world. This might be. Caracas would be great, but it's a one of. Another Fairgrounds Warden would be great. Now, all this is happening, or at least has happened as fast as it did, because I didn't main phase my Containment Priest. That's on me. I didn't think about, like, the fetch land based line. Yeah. I needed another Fairgrounds Warden there. That's alright. We get a game on the play now. On the play, the stuff looks a little better. I'm looking to keep a hand that has one of Pithing Needle, Containment Priest, or Leyline of the Void. Hullbreacher is also acceptable if I can turn one or maybe turn it. Chalice is considerably better on the play. I think I'm going to keep the Chalice over a Thalia. I'm thinking about Trinisphere, but I think I'm going to submit without it. The Root Wallet of Baskerville. Kinda MTG, thank you very much for your continued support. Very much appreciated. Yep. We're gonna lead on Lavinia on turn one. Card is annoying as fuck. Oh. As you can see, Lavinia is a good Magic card in this matchup. For round 5 of this league, I finally won a die roll, so we'll be on the play. This hand is probably not good enough. This is just turn 2 Hatebears, and it can't cast a Lavinia. Let's mulligan and try to find something with a restricted card of some nature. I said, let's mulligan and try to find something with a restricted card of some nature. Thank you. That's much better. Alright, so this is 5. I'll be tossing back 1 Cavern of Souls. And I guess the Containment Priest. Alright. I think I want to Chalice on 0 here. Like, Chalice on 0 plus Thalia. Like, really choke my opponent's mana. It's possible that Chalice on 1 is better. If I don't Chalice on 0, my opponent can drop a couple of mana rocks, and then my hand is considerably worse. I can Chalice on 0 and Thalia. Yeah, let's go for both. I really need a piece of gas off the top. We'll see whether or not this works. I think I hold this land until I draw a relevant creature to play. Skeleton! Thank you very much for following. Hope you're enjoying the content. We're playing against PO and I just randomly challenged on 0 in the dark. That's really good. That was one bottom, one top. Wrong deck. Thank you. Josh, I don't think we should be playing Opposition Agent. I think we should be playing some other bears in that slot. That's frustrating. Rolled to 5, got 3 dead draws in a row, and our opponent had their best restricted card against us. Like Spirit of the Labyrinth or Hullbreacher or something here would be just like very helpful. Fucking end it all now, god damn. I am really frustrated by this. I feel like I am playing a respectable deck list, and damn, the variance is kicking me in the teeth tonight. Okay, so that Mystic Sanctuary probably indicates that our opponent is not on PO, but rather is on just a Jeskai Xerox deck. I'm gonna draw one more Thalia and then I'll concede. Sorry, it was a land, not a Thalia. Alright, I'm gonna see if my opponent will show me any other cards. That just kind of give me more information, but I am dead here. Ugh. All right. So we're just playing against a no against Xerox. I would chalice on one 100%. But like we didn't know the matchup when I made the decision in the dark. Like our game one configuration is basically what I want to be doing here. Containment Priest is kind of the stinky card here. Containment Priest is going to be the weak link in this matchup. I'll probably go and Needle in and play some Fairground Warden, randomly snipe a Mentor or something that hits the. I'm going to keep this. I don't think I can play the Trinisphere with this hand. I think that's the card that's going back. Metal was a Mox. We'd be in a slightly different world. I think I lead on Chalice on 1 over the Hullbreacher. That way the Hullbreacher is better protected from things like Swords to Plowshares, Lightning Bolt, Pyroblast, whatever. We gotta dig through time for our trouble. Bottom, bottom. Please? I need this. I need this. God damn it. Nothing can go right this league. Alright, we're an aggro deck now. What the fuck? I just played Lotus. Like, clearly I'm going to have a follow-up play. I don't understand forcing that. Like, if I have 2 playable cards, then, like, the first one is the bait one. Do you have the lightning bolt too? No. Okay. So you just draw 3 off your red card after all right. All right. We're done. That's it. It's over. Okay. So let's do our debrief real quick. So I feel like we played a reasonable deck tonight. Like obviously this isn't 100% fine tune or anything, and this sort of strategy isn't the best thing to be doing in Vintage. But we missed so many situations where being like 5% luckier allows us to steal those games. So I'm not saying this was a 5-0 league because I don't think that's true. But I really feel like this should have been a 3-2 league the vast majority of the time. If I was going to run this back, I would be cutting Opposition Agents and the Scrubland for 1 Horizon Canopy style land of some nature, and then just a handful of other playable cards. The Opposition Agents were Like, there were spots where they were theoretically good, but holding up mana for it is a little bit awkward when I don't have too many other instants other than Hullbreacher. And Hullbreacher was very... There also might be a case for playing, like, another Lavinia, or even something crazy like a Mox Amber that gets turned on by legendary creatures. I don't think we're quite there, but it might be worth looking at like a Chrome Mox or something of that nature. I had to mulligan a lot this, and it's possible there were things that I could do, like mitigate that from the get-go. The Lotus Petal that I put in the deck was one card that was trying to do that. For those of you that made it this far on YouTube, please consider liking, subscribing, commenting, that sort of stuff. It really helps people find my videos. This is the first time that I'm trying to convert my streams into a more YouTube-friendly format. So if this is something that you really like, please let me know in the comments, and I will continue it.